Afternoon all, thanks for coming. I'd like to welcome Nathan Jones to the club. For the broadcast section, if you could give your name and organisation when you're asking a question, just so help Nathan acquaint himself with the people we've got in the room. So, Fraser, do you want to kick off?
Hello Nathan, Fraser from Sky Sports, nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
This all seems to have happened fairly quickly. How did it happen from your perspective?
Well, to say it's a whirlwind would be an understatement. Look, I've got a call earlier on in the week to say that obviously I knew that they'd change, looking to change manager after sort of reading it really, and then I had a call that said that they'd like to speak to me. All happened very quickly. I was on a break in Brighton actually, because we'd had a rare couple of days off, and I travelled up and met the board. I went in front of Tony, went in front of the key people here at the club and spoke to them. And it was, as I said, happened very very quickly, and something that I was interested in, and here we are.
So was it an easy decision to make?
No, totally not. It really wasn't, because we had a real good place at Brighton, at Luton. It was a wonderful club. We had done good work. I'd been 3 years into it, and so we're in a wonderful place. We really were. And when it happens, you just have to put things aside and think professionally. So it was a real wrench, because I'd got to know a lot of people there. We'd built something really special at Luton, so it would have taken something special. I've had other opportunities to leave the club, and I never did. But when this came up, it was just too good to turn down. And look, when I met Peter and when I met John and Tony, they explained the vision of the club for me. So it became the right decision, but not an easy one. And look, it was with a heavy heart that I left Luton, and I want to stress that, because I love the club, and the players bought into everything I did. They had a great board, great people right throughout, like this club is. So it was a difficult decision. I'm sorry that's been long-winded, but it was a tough decision, it really was.
So what was that vision that was sold to you? What was it about Stoke City that made you think this was the right move for you?
It's a great club. I mean, look, I've followed football for a long time, and there's a good tradition with Welsh managers here as well, which is not something that I hope continues. But I've been at good clubs. I was at Brighton, for example. That was a real good community club that had the fans at heart. They listened to the fans. They did things with the fans. It was a community at heart in terms of that, and they had good people right throughout, and that's why Brighton have had success. Yeah, they got a fantastic manager, but there's some good people right throughout, and there's so many parallels with Brighton and here. I see a wonderful community club here. It's very community driven. The fans are superb. It's been a tough couple of years, I think, for Stoke fans, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to anyone, but they've had a wonderful sort of run, 12 years. Again under Tony and things, at some wonderful times. It's just been a little tough 2 years, but now we're looking forward, and I think there's everything in place here to do very very well. As I said, the fans are magnificent here, and I quickly would like to get a rapport with them, because I did so with the Luton ones, and because they're key to success. They have to buy into it. But at Stoke City, there's so many good people. I've only been here 2 days, but the people around here are, it can be a phenomenal club, this. And I said, the people here are good people, honest, hard-working people. I'm Welsh. We're mining community, good values, nothing elaborate, just good values, and I think that fits in with Stoke City.
You come here with this reputation for playing open, expansive, exciting football. How confident are you that you've got a squad here that's good enough to be able to do that?
Well, I hope it won't be that open, but I'm very confident. I wouldn't have come. I felt that this was the right fit. As I said, it was a wrench leaving Luton, because we'd built something, and at no point had I taken Luton to as far as they could go, because the scope at Luton was massive. So it was a big decision. So when I looked at implementing a philosophy, I didn't want to start again like I had to at Luton. I didn't want to go into a place that I would have really had to really start again, rip the bones out of it, to build again. There's so many good things in place at this football club that I believe I can do well. Some wonderful footballers here, some real good people, as I already said. But as long as the players buy into everything we want to do, because we're not just, I don't just want to be a good footballing side, and I don't just want to be a side that plays attractive football. I want to be a successful side. I want to be a side that works hard. I want to be a proud side. I want the Stoke fans to get behind it and to have a team that they're going to be proud of. We will get there. How quickly depends on everyone at the club, because we're all pulled together. But it's a wonderful club, and I would like this club to get back to the highest level, and I believe we're going to do it.
With that in mind then, is that going to be one of the biggest challenges you have? Because obviously there are some big names here, one or two might have big egos, so to speak, and having come from a lower level of football in terms of your management experience, how big a challenge is it going to be to get some of those players maybe to buy into your philosophy?
I've seen no egos since I've been here, if I'm honest. To be honest with you, I've seen absolutely not one ego, and that goes from the hotel staff where I'm staying right through to the people of the club, and especially the players. So there's none in terms of anything that we do. So the best way for me to bridge a gap between what you say is lower league football to where these are now is to just do good work, and our work is very good. I'm very confident and proud of the work that me and my staff do, and the board here have entrusted me to implement that work because they believe it'll take us forward, and I know it'll take us forward, because if the players buy into everything and they see good work, then players are good at heart. Fundamentally they're good at heart, and I said there's some real good characters here. So I've seen no egos here. What I've seen is, I took training today, it's a hard working group that are a talented group that want to play football. So that's all I can ask for.
As far as the rest of this season is concerned, it's a sizable gap at the moment to the playoff places, but have the board given you a target? Do they expect you to move up there, or is it a question of you now just getting your feet under the table and getting into position for possibly for next season?
The greatest pressure that I will be under will be for myself in terms of what I'd like to do. The gap isn't sizable, if I'm honest. It's 8 points to playoffs. What we have to do is make sure that we instill a philosophy and a mentality here, and an environment and a culture that takes the club forward long term. Now, I would like short-term success, which would lead into medium-term success, which hopefully would lead into long-term success. That's what we plan. But I don't think there's a time scale on it. I have not been told a time scale, we want to do this, we want to do that. But I have my own targets that I believe that if I can implement what I do and everyone buys into it, I believe that we can go certain places in a certain level of time, and that begins on Saturday.
Just finally from me, obviously it's a January transfer window open at the moment. You've moved players on at previous clubs if they haven't quite fitted in with the way you wanted to do things. Is that a possibility here? Can you see players leaving, players coming in, even though you've only got a few weeks to do that?
Anyone we bring in has to be better than what we have here, which at times is difficult because Stoke has got a good squad, a wonderful squad in fact. So anyone we bring in has to be better than what we have, because we have to improve the environment and everything. Anyone we bring in has to be a top character, has to be a good athlete, because we want to play a certain way. And anyone that doesn't want to be part of this environment, then look, they will be, I would say moved on, but they will quickly fall by the wayside. But there won't be masses of movement, because I don't think we need a lot. What I want to do is make sure that if I can keep this group of players motivated, fit and hungry, that'll do for me, because I think we have enough anyway. If there is scope to do anything and the right ones come available, then I'm sure that if I knock on the chairman's door and things, I'm sure they'll want to do what's right for the club.
Thank you.
Dan Patrick from the BBC. Welcome to the West Midlands. What's your coaching philosophy?
To play fast, attractive, winning style of football. That's basically. But philosophy is not just about coaching. Philosophy is about how you implement yourself, your staff, and how you act around the football club. And that's discipline, respect, hard work, yet talent, and then being in a system and a structure that hopefully produces winning football. So it's not rocket science. It's based around hard work, around doing a lot of good things, a lot of little things well, and then see where it'll take us.
I've read that you consider yourself a little bit of a student of the Championship, that you love the division. with your knowledge, bear in mind where Stoke are, what is possible this season?
I'd like to say anything, but I don't want to be that vague, you know. But I think I am a student of the Championship because I did I worked in it for 4 years, and I had far more time on my hands than I do now. So I did actually study player systems and things like that. So I know the Championship, and obviously where I was plying my trade as a manager in the last sort of 3 years, it was always a realistic aim for the team I was with to quickly get to the Championship. So again, I wanted an eye on it, and again, a realistic progression for myself would be the Championship as well. So those are the background in that. But we can achieve what realistic aims, we can improve our position quite quickly. How quickly will depend on the forthcoming games. Then going into months, we would like to significantly improve it, and if we can improve our position every month, by the end of every month, hopefully we should be in a very good place. Now, I don't know, you know, because you can't say that, but I'm not going to give anyone a headline in terms of he can do that, they can do this. No, we're going to implement a whole club philosophy first, so that we move forward safely, and we have a long-term goal here. But in the short term, we'd like to see how quickly we can improve our position.
What's your message to the Luton Town fans to understand they're missing you already?
Well, I've stayed off social media if that's anything. But look, I had a great rapport with fans at Luton. I really did. It's difficult. It's like a marriage. It's difficult when you break up, and there's sometimes can be bitterness and so on. But I gave Luton everything. I gave them my life. I loved the club. I had opportunities to move, and I never even considered it. I bought into everything. I think I've significantly improved the Hull Football Club. I've definitely improved the culture and the environment there. The level of assets, players and things there, the playing style. I united a club. I think the fans was full house every week. I couldn't have left it in a better position. Now I understand that there is going to be bitterness, there's going to be a certain heartache. The amount of times I've cried from text messages that I've had from players already that have sent me good stuff and things, and when I think about it, it makes me emotional because I had a good time there and I was married to the club. But a natural progression for me when I spoke to, as I said, to Peter and to John and to Tony, this was the right step. It's a calculated gamble, but it's the right step for me and for the club, I believe. So I just say I hope they understand, because I am ambitious, but I had no intention to leave and to leave them in the lurch in any kind of way, and I think I've left them in a wonderful, wonderful position. We were 18th in League Two when I came, with the poorest of training grounds, with an environment that could have been better, and we improved everything. We have a team, one of the most exciting young teams they have now in any division. Scored more goals than almost everyone by Man City. We've got a wonderful home record. It's the full house every week. I couldn't have done any more. So I hope they understand that I've left purely for nothing other than total progression.
Bearing in mind the job you did at Luton Town, bearing in mind that this time last year Fulham were in a worse position than Stoke City, and we know how that finished with them winning at Wembley and getting promoted. Final question from me, what's your message to the Stoke family? Well,
I'll take that. Look, what I want to do is I want to put a side out there that they can be proud of. It's part of a great club, and I want them to buy into that. At times, we're going to have to go through a little few things, and they're going to get an element of frustration, but I promise you, there's going to come a time further down the line where they're going to look at that Stoke City team and be proud of that Stoke City team. So I ask them, buy into it now. Be part of the journey now. Don't be a sceptic now or anything, but get right behind us, because they are a great group of fans. I've played here. I've had some hide-ins here. I've listened to Delilah 4 times in a game here, right? From I've marked some good mates, you know, in terms of Chris Iwalumu, Gifton Noah-Williams, people like that, Sidibe, that have given me a tough time, and I know what it's like when the fans get behind the end of the team. Get behind us, and I promise you, I will give them, or my staff will give them a team that they can be proud of. I guarantee.
Thank you, Nathan. Good luck, Andrew.
Local media, Angela Smith. Welcome to Stoke City.
Thank you very much.
You've taken the first training session this morning. How did it go?
I think wonderfully. We'll have to see now when we go down to Brentford. But no, it was a real look. They were they're a good group. I know they're a good group. I know a few characters in there. I know a few of the players. It's a wonderfully talented squad. So it went very well. Understandably, they'd be very motivated today with a new manager. Otherwise, if you'd be worried if they weren't motivated today. But what I said to them after was, that's not the peak. I don't want today to peak and then to be down on a plateau. No, that's our levels now. And it was very good. And that's it. It's a wonderfully talented squad. I'm used to a talented squad and a good training environment, but that was very good today, and I'm very pleased.
And with all the whirlwind of you come in here, a lot of people have forgotten we've got a match against Brentford on Saturday. I know you haven't forgotten that.
No.
But how much input do you think you will have yourself? Obviously you're in charge, but you'll obviously rely on other members of staff to help you, or do you feel sufficiently confident to start and pick the team yourself and say we're going to do this, this and this?
I feel sufficiently confident to be able to do that, but I will tap into the knowledge of others. There's good people at the club, you know. See, someone like Rory Delap has been here as a player and is a very well respected coach and knows the players, is close to the players, great character. So look, I'll tap into that, but I wanted to get started as soon as possible. I'm not one of those managers to say, well, I'll just ease my way in, I'll sit in the stand and we'll see how it goes. Now, look, we need every point we can get if we want to do anything special or good. So why not start Saturday? And for me, that means starting as soon as I possibly could. It has been a whirlwind, it really has. It's I wouldn't quite call it carnage, but it's been a real whirlwind and a busy time. But being a football manager is never plain sailing anyway. So look, you're kind of used to that.
Do we have any injury problems at the moment that you're aware of for Saturday?
No, there's obviously one or two things that I wouldn't like to openly say today, because I said it might reveal anything. So I'm very relatively cautious in giving too much information. But no, we've got a good bill of health. We had good numbers training today. It's good intensity. So providing no one does anything stupid in the garden today, we should be fine. And
the last couple of questions from me, if I may. The owner, the board, you've already said they're great and they're loyal, but they backed you straight away by allowing you to bring in your backroom staff. That must be tremendously good for you.
Yeah, it really is, because I said to implement a club philosophy and not just a coaching philosophy, as we said, you need people you can trust. You need people that know how you work. Now, you don't need everyone that you've already worked with and bring a whole environment. No, people will buy into what you do, and there's great people here that can actually improve on what you've been used to. But it's essential that my core staff came, and the club recognised that, and they've been magnificent. I don't travel with loads of baggage and loads of this thing. We have a few that are essential to how our environment operates, and the board were unequivocal in saying, yeah, you bring those, and did everything possible. And to be honest with you, I have to thank them for that, because sometimes management can be a lonely place, and when you come up and you're staying in a hotel with just you, your dog and your fiancée, sometimes it can be a lonely place.
And finally, the fans, you've alluded to the fact that the fans are really important to this club, and they haven't been best pleased with the type of football they've seen in the last few months. So if you want to make that play, I know you've said it already, what would you ask the fans to do? It's a sellout at Brentford, we've got a cup game on Tuesday. You really need them to unite now and unite the whole club, don't you?
Yeah, look, I don't know what's gone on, in the past, and that's not right for me to comment on anything. What we have to do now is look forward. And look, we want to bring success to the club. Now, it's no relative success when you're a club like Stoke, where we are in the Championship, and what can be achieved. It's not relative. It's big success. So that's what we want to implement. So the fans are vital, because trust me, they play a key role every single week. One, in filling the place, in creating an atmosphere, but I want them to understand how we're going to play and what we're going to do. And at times they're going to have to be patient. At times they are going to have to understand a process in what we do. But I make a promise: they will have a team that they're going to be proud of, because that's what we believe we do is educating players, working with players, making players better, putting them into a structure that they enjoy, that they can work hard on, and one that hopefully, because there's no right way of playing, but playing a certain way that Stoke fans can get behind.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Last couple.
Dave Lee and Morelands Radio. I was going to ask if there's been a lot of players that have been sort of like on the sidelines this season, have been really given a chance, the fans think. Will you be giving everyone a fair crack of the whip?
Of course. I mean, I don't like the way of a clean slate, because no, it's not a clean slate, because I know a lot of players and I know what they are, but what it is, it gives everyone an opportunity. I want people to buy into what we do, because it's essential. If they do that, then they'll improve, we'll improve, the whole club will improve. So yeah, everyone will be given an opportunity. They've just got to show me that they want to buy into what we do, because we don't waver. We have a certain way of doing things in terms of, again, not just playing but doing things. I want them to buy into everything, because we want good human beings here as well, not just good footballers. We want real courteous human beings that buy into everything that Stoke's about, and that's what we have, and everyone will get an opportunity. I want to see it. I like young, fit, athletic players, so even the younger players will get opportunity here to show what they can do, because it's, and again, for fans and things, it's brilliant when you've got homegrown players who come through, they can get behind it. It's something that's good, and everyone will be given an opportunity if they're good enough. At the end of the day, my life depends on it.
Melissa from ITV Central Player.
Hi.
Just wonder, for you personally, how much of a step up do you feel this is? Obviously Stoke comes with this enormous prestige and history. Do you feel a lot of pressure, and how are you dealing with that?
I don't feel the pressure. I said the biggest amount of pressure I get is what I put on myself, because I demand more than what I'm going to get demanded from by Stoke fans, by my board and stuff, because I have that ambition anyway, and my ambition matches that of the club. The club want to do good things, and I want to do good things. Yes, but for my first job in football, I could have picked far easier jobs than going to Luton Town. One, where they were, but two, with the demanding fans they have and the pressures on there, because you're expected to win. So I think this is why this is a right fit, because I've been used to having to win football matches and having to do it in a certain way, and that's what it is here. It's a big club, it's a big club in a big division. For me, it's like a second Premier League tier. It really is. You look at some of the teams in it. Wonderful division, competitive division, ruthless division, but that's not pressure. That's challenge, and I love challenge, and my players are going to love it too.
Okay, thanks folks. We'll break out the radios now and then the written guide.
Thank you.
So, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Right, some more up on here.